Hi, welcome to GDC. This is my talk, 30-minute Steam page makeovers, how to make a page that wows. I'm Chris Zukowski. Thanks for being here. One of my favorite things are these home makeover shows, where they start with an ugly house and then they make it look good. And I just always was so inspired by them. And I wanted to try something similar to that today. For some reason, they always have to be leaning on something, some sort of ladder or something. You got to lean a lot if you're in construction, I guess. I don't know. But my favorite part is when they do the before and after. They have like this really bad looking picture and then they make it look pretty at the end of the show. I want to do that. I'm basically the Bob Vila of Steam pages. I'm a consultant and I help developers and indies and studios, big companies, small companies, publishers, make their Steam pages work for them. I make pages that wow. So what I want to talk to you about this is everything that I've learned. So I write a weekly blog at howtomarketagame.com. That's where I live. And I kind of learn the ins and outs of Steam pages and kind of publish my results on this other class. It's totally free called howtomakeasteampage.com. So between those two, I've kind of learned a lot about Steam. So what I wanted to do was take everything that I learned from the last GDC talk that I gave. My last one last year was called Empathizing with Steam, How Buyers See Your Game. I gave a lot of information, but it's not as many like how-to facts for how to make your page better. This year, it's all going to be about how to make your page better. So let's dive in. Now, this is going to apply to first-time devs. If you still haven't made your page, maybe your page is super early. Also, it's going to apply to devs who have been around. They've created multiple games. Maybe you've got a new one in the works, so you can learn something from this. And it's also going to apply if maybe you released a game several years ago and just haven't updated it in a while and you kind of moved on with your life, but that Steam page still exists. Steam's actually pretty good at promoting old games, so this might help kind of sweep away the cobwebs and update your old game. I'm going to show you how. So these are going to be real-world examples. I've gotten permission from the devs that I'm going to show. Some of these are my actual clients. Some of these are folks who've just shared their numbers with me. They said, oh, I took a class and I learned something. Here, look at this. So I'm going to tell you when that happens. But there are going to be times when I show the before and after. And I just want to be clear that the pages are a work in progress always. So it's not that they were bad or lazy devs or anything if the page didn't look great at the beginning. It's really that pages should be posted live as soon as you're ready. Don't wait too long. Don't pine and work so hard to make it absolutely perfect. I commend the devs who just put their page up, get started, make their page live. That's the way you should be doing it. So don't feel bad if your page doesn't meet up to the standards that I have. We're all in this to learn together, and I'm going to show you how to make it good. It's good to be fast and upload what you got now, waiting for it to be perfect, because the longer you wait, the fewer wish lists you're going to get. Okay? So the most common problems of Steam pages that I see that come across my desk are these. This whole talk's going to be broken down in these four main problems. The first one is your page just doesn't stand out. It's unclear what genre you have. Number 3 is not working within the Steam algorithm to support your game. And then finally, your game looks dead, or it looks like the Steam page is no longer being updated, the dreaded dead game. So I'm going to show you how to fix all 4 of these problems with real-world examples. So let's get started here. So let's tackle the first problem, which is your page just doesn't stand out. The thing is, Steam, there's a lot of games on there, and a lot of them are what we call shovelware or asset flips. They're people who maybe are just doing this for a hobby, or this is their first game, or maybe they're just quickly trying to flip a game that they downloaded off the Unity Asset Store. Now, Steam shoppers are used to these games. They've got a highly tuned sense of what looks like shovelware and what is a flip game. You want to make sure that you prove to these Steam shoppers that that is not your game. You rise above. You are not just an asset flip. So I'm going to show you how to rise above and make sure that your page signals that it's a high quality, well-produced game. So here's an example of a before picture. This is this game, Jupiter Moons Mecha. Great developer, but this is one of their first versions right out of the gate of the page. Again, there's some problems here, but it's okay. All developers start out somewhere. So one of the first things I notice when I first see this page is a lot of the screenshots are very similar. You'll notice, see how they're green backdrops, same city. 2 of the screenshots have the same mech that they're battling on right against it. So these kind of lack of asset difference between your screenshots, they're all very similar color, similar orientation, starts to clue people in maybe this is an asset flip. And the reason that is because usually on the Unity asset store, you get one asset. I just pulled this random one off the asset store, hot lava. So a lot of first-time devs will use their one asset in several screenshots. And sometimes the whole game is just this one asset that they got. So if you have several screenshots that are all of this lava asset, that signals to Steam shoppers, oh, this is probably just an asset flip. They bought that one hot lava asset and the whole game is set in this one world. You don't want to do that. Steam players like deep gameplay. So to fix this problem, there's three things. You got to show unique screenshots. You have to have a really good capsule, and your game assets should be throughout your page. So it looks like it's high-res art, okay? Now, unique screenshots. Here's how we do it. We're going to show a variety of environments, a variety of visual effects, and we're going to show in-game menus. Yes, we're going to show UI. Now, it's better to have fewer screenshots that are unique than to have a whole bunch that are very similar. So this is the after effect after we've kind of updated the screenshots with these unique artwork. So before, you can see that they were similar, 3 green backdrops, same background, 2 of the images had the same opponent on there. Afterwards, the dev did a great job switching up the variety. You'll notice each backdrop is different mechs in each one. And the third screenshot is actually UI. Now I'm going to show you when I look in on this UI. Let's take a look here. I love including UI. I know it sounds boring. It's not exciting. It's not like got that wow effect, but it signals to Steam shoppers that your game has depth. And that's the thing that asset flips lack, is that gameplay depth. When I look at this complex inventory screenshot, I don't quite know what's going on, but I can tell that there's something here. I see a bunch of hit points, lots of stats, lots of elements all over the place, grids everywhere. This screenshot tells shoppers, this is a deep game. You can sink your teeth into this. Okay, the next way to kind of fix this low-res game, kind of like asset flip game, how to rise above, is better capsules. A capsule is Steam's language for this little image in the top right box of every game. Here it is, Half-Life Alyx. Put a little arrow. That's a capsule, that image of Half-Life Alyx. Now, I'm going to show you before. This is a game called Dwarven Valley. This is their first capsule. It's a screenshot of the game. Now, Dwarven Valley is a building game. You kind of craft items for the villagers and you build your workshop out. This capsule includes a screenshot of the game. So it's a very beautiful game. I think this is a beautiful game. But just using the screenshot in the capsule is problematic. And I'm going to show you why. Now, when you just use a screenshot, that signals to Steam you don't have an art budget. Even if your game is totally beautiful. So I recommend you hire a professional illustrator, because no asset flipper is ever going to hire a professional asset flip or a professional illustrator for their game. They're just going to grab a screenshot. It's cheap. It's easy. You got to rise above and show that you've got some complexity here and that you can afford this sort of thing. So don't use screenshots of for your capsule. And also, if you have a pixel art game, I'm going to recommend against using pixel art in your capsule, and I'll show you why. Basically, your goal here is to signal, I am investing money in this game. I have spent and hired people that can help me. I'm not just using this as a quick asset flip. Now, pixel art games. I love pixel art. I've made pixel art games. However, in the Steam community, they have a bad reputation of being cheap games. I don't think all pixel art games are cheap. I just know that in the past, pixel art games have been cheap, and that's left a bad taste in a lot of Steam shoppers' minds. So to stand above, a lot of these top-tier pixel art games use an illustrated capsule. Look at this, Celeste, Neon Abyss, even Baba Is You. It's a very simple drawn capsule, but you'll notice it's actually illustrated. It's not pixel art. So to rise above, if you have a pixel art game, you really should invest in a fully illustrated cover. Now, here we've got our capsules after. So the developer went back and had a great, well-illustrated capsule. Now you'll notice it's got this dwarf. He actually renamed the game to Kingdom Workshop. I swear this is the same game. And what he did when he changed it out is this character is fully illustrated. It's not a model from the game. And he actually added some great new title art to it, Kingdom Workshop. And after implementing this capsule, you'll see this increase. Look at that. New capsule, a huge spike right after that capsule. Immediately, he could see the results of implementing this new capsule. And it's great. Using a capsule that's professionally illustrated is worth the money. I find that a capsule will typically cost you about $500 to $1,000 USD, and that's expensive. I know it is. That's a lot of money, but it is worth it. It signals that you are investing in your game. If this is a business for you, you should invest in this. It's some of the best money spent. So run bake sales, mow lawns. If you have trouble affording this, whatever you can do, try and figure out how to get a well-illustrated professional artist to do your capsule. It's worth the money. The interesting thing is you'll note that even the capsule for Kingdom Workshop isn't a screenshot from the game. It tells you actually less than the screenshot, but just by including that illustrated capsule, it just elevates the game to a new level. Finally, to make your game look expensive, as I say, you should have game assets throughout your page. Let me show you what I mean. Show, don't tell. Don't have a lot of text to explain your game. You want to prove that you have the artist chops to really decorate your Steam page in a nice, engaging way. Let me show you what I mean. This is a game that I consulted for called Whisker Squadron. And you'll notice there's a section at the bottom called About This Game. Now, in the past, old Steam, people used to just fill this with text. It's totally logical. That's kind of what Steam hints that you should do. But it's kind of too much text. Most Steam shoppers don't read that much. So what the developer did was went back, pulled GIFs of their game. Now, this game is a very beautiful game, well animated, sharp art. It's like a spiritual successor to Star Fox. And you can just see it just by looking at these animated GIFs that are just rotating. You say, that looks just like Star Fox. It's so great. It's a spiritual successor. This is so much more impactful than just text describing it. And so you need to show how vibrant your game is by doing these animated GIFs. Another great page is this Return to Nengrim. This page is beautiful. You'll notice that the whole game, the capsule, the screenshots, the announcements, even these little embellishments all over have the same color palette. It shows how well art-directed this game is. It just subtly feels like an expensive game. It almost feels not like Steam. Some of the touches that they've added are these little filigree, this little tiny line work that just looks so cool. It looks like the game is emerging into Steam. These sort of just enhancements that must have cost an artist hundreds of hours to create this stuff. It just looks so good, like you've invested in your game. Again, you're making yourself look impressive. So to make your game and your Steam page look expensive, like you've invested in this game, you need to show a variety of screenshots. You got to show some illustrated capsules, and you got to pack your Steam page with graphical assets that just show that you've got great art. Okay, let's move on to the next problem I see with a lot of Steam pages, an unclear genre. What do you do in this game? That's a common problem that shoppers have when they come to your page, and a lot of first-time devs just have a problem getting this into their Steam page. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay, Steam audience knows their genres. I know we're developers and we're omnivorous. We're excited to try any game, but most typical gamers are very specific in the games they like and they don't like. When I was doing my study, I got a lot of quotes from people saying, this looks like Mario Party. No, thank you. Like immediately, they didn't even have to consider the game. They knew that this game was like a party game and they didn't like party games, so they moved on. These type of quotes are common among Steam. Shoppers know their genre, and most will move on if it's not your genre, which sounds bad, but they're excited when it actually is the genre they like. So you need to be very clear with your genre. Let me show you. This is a description. This is the short description, which is the text right under the capsule. This is for a game. I hid the name because I don't like to speak bad about a game, but I think that this description could be improved. So let me show you what I mean. The year is 1983. The world teeters on the verge of destruction as the Cold War tightens its icy grip. East or West, trust no one, question everything. The fate of humanity rests in your hands as you pit spy versus spy. Now, this description is very evocative, but I don't know the genre. Do you know the genre? I didn't include pictures because I didn't want to hint at what it was. But if you think about it, this could be an FPS. It could be a visual novel. It could be an RPG. It could be a tactical strategy game, a real-time strategy game, any of those genres. This could be anywhere. They're basically describing the surface coat and not the actual gameplay. This is a problem because it's hard to determine what the genre of this game is. So here's how we're going to fix this. We're going to write better short descriptions. We'll also fix this by showing better screenshots that hint towards the genre. And we're going to be very trope conscious in our capsules, because the capsules will hint as to what type of game this is. So let's take a look here. A lot of short descriptions describe the feeling, the emotions, what the graphics look like, which is kind of a mistake because right to the side of the short descriptions are pictures. This is from a great looking game called Blair Witch Project. And you'll notice they don't have to write that this is a spooky game. You just look at the screenshots. You're like, this is a spooky game. This is a horror-based in the woods game. So they can eliminate all those words from their description. They can focus on gameplay. So let your screenshots and your trailer use to describe the mood and kind of the feeling of the game. Don't waste words describing feeling. Screenshots will do that. Instead, I like to make my short descriptions verb focused. Write down what you literally do in the game. What verbs do you use? Some helpful hints for writing your short description. These are kind of thought experiments I like to do. Say, write down all the verbs that happen when you push each of the face buttons if you were using a controller on this game. What are those verbs? Those verbs should appear in your short description. What happens if you die in the game? Do you die forever? Does a world reset? What happens when you die? That can really hint at the genre. Is it a roguelike where the world resets? Maybe. That really hints to it. Also, describe how time works. Is it real time? Is it turn-based? Is there a real-world clock? What is it? Is it like Animal Crossing where whatever day it is today is the time in Animal Crossing? All those things help hint to your genre. So describe these things in your short description. Here are some good examples. These are short descriptions that I really like. Dead Cells is a roguelike Metroidvania inspired action platformer. Right there. Genre straight in away. I love this short description. Fall Guys. Fall Guys is a massively multiplayer party game up to 60 players online in a free-for-all struggle through round and round of escalating chaos until one victor remains. Perfect. That's a perfect encapsulation of the genre. It showed verbs. It shows the genre. It shows that it's multiplayer. Perfect. Most important thing is you should be clear. Short descriptions work in conjunction with all your other assets. So if it feels like you missed out the fact that it's a spooky game in your short description, that's okay because the heavy lifting of your theming is going to be covered by those screenshots off to the side. So don't feel like your short description has to carry everything and have to enrapture all of it as your game. Your whole Steam page works around with the rest of your short description. So let's talk about being crystal clear with your genre by getting better screenshots. So these are screenshots for the new Resident Evil Village game. Great game. It's got great marketing, but their screenshots don't really tell you what kind of genre it is. It's just a man screaming, a big sweaty man screaming, a zombie man. I don't know. Like, why? Like, what genre is that? Am I controlling that guy? Am I shooting that guy? Is this a real-time strategy where he's like in my army that I'm going towards somebody? It's unclear what is happening in the screenshot. It's evocative, but it doesn't tell you how to play the game. I know that you know because it's Resident Evil, several sequels. What is it, 7 or 8? I can't remember. But you don't have that luxury. This is probably your first game in the series. So you don't have that luxury of knowing what the past genre was. You need to be specific in your screenshots. So let's fix it. I just went to a YouTube video of somebody playing the game. This is a much better screenshot telling more about this game. Look, you know it's a first-person shooter now. There's a gun in the front, just like all first-person shooters. I know that there's 10 bullets, so that means that I'm going to be limited on my resources. There's an inventory on the left that tells me, oh, I've got limited weapons. I've got to figure out which weapon. There's a knife, so it's going to be some close hand-to-hand combat. There's only one guy, so it's going to be like tougher enemies. If you get the right screenshots, you can tell more about your game rather than just some screaming, sweaty zombie man. So really look at your screenshots and really pick ones that emphasize your genre. Let's talk about trope-conscious capsules. So I don't know if you realize, but your capsules really evoke the genre. If you're doing a crafting game, a builder, you got to include a hammer. Look at all these building games. Include that hammer. Part of the reason I think that Kingdom Workshop change, that capsule change, was it evoked the genre. It was a crafting building game. And look, what's that guy, the little troll have? It's got a hammer. Got to include the hammer if you got a crafting game. Simulator games. You got to put the vehicle that you're simulating, and then you got to write the name of the simulator in italicized, full-bodied, impact, sans serif font, and then outline it with black text, black outline. I don't know why. That's just the genre trope. All these simulator games look this similar way. If you're doing a space game, you got to have a pinkish purpley capsule. You got to have some planet sections. You got to have a spaceship where you have the trails coming behind it. And then you got to write your title in white text. I didn't make these rules. Somehow they just kind of evolve naturally. Your genre is very dependent on the art style. So study the other capsules and games in your genre. Look at recent capsules because these trends change. You know, if you're watching this video in 2 or 3 years from now, it could be a different trend, but just be aware of the current context of your genre. And then when people see those, subconsciously like, I bet that's a space game. It kind of, there's like a purple space, planet that I'm flying over in this screenshot or in this capsule. Must be a space game. That's the feeling you want to evoke. So you want your capsule to mirror the other genres you're in. So let's do a recap. Here's how to tell genre to your shoppers and be crystal clear on your Steam page. Have a short description that describes gameplay and genre tropes. Use screenshots that actually show UI and are indicative of your genre. And then finally, have capsules that are in line with other games in your genre. You can innovate, but you should also keep some elements that have those hints towards the other genres. Maybe a hammer here or there, or trails on the spaceship. Here's a bonus genre FAQ that somebody always asks me whenever I talk about genres and making sure that they're similar. What if I have 2 genres? My game's a mix. Okay, be honest with yourself. Usually with these mixed genres, there's one trunk genre that's the main part of the game, and then a second genre is kind of stapled on the side, in a nice way, stapled. If that's the case, focus your genre that you should follow is still the main genre, whatever your trunk genre is. That's like 75% of your game is this genre. But if you're honest and you're saying, no, really, it's 50-50, half this genre, half this genre. If that's the case, you can actually change your Steam page all the time. Your Steam page is not set in stone. So maybe 1 month you switch it to one genre, and you swipe it to a different genre on the next month, and you keep swapping back and forth, and then kind of monitor. Does one genre that you focus on perform better than the other genre? Maybe. So try it out. Just test. Sometimes fans of one genre don't like the other genre. Okay, third problem, not working with the Steam algorithm. This one is really indicative of having to understand Steam. The way Steam makes their money is they know down to the minute how much people play each game. Each player has a record of which games they like the best according to Steam. And all the Steam algorithm does is it looks at which games the player plays the most of, and then shows them more games in the same genre. You'll look at all these widgets all over Steam. I just grabbed screenshots. It says recommended because you played these games. Because you like this game, you like this. You've played hours of this game. Here's why we're recommending this game. So you need to program the algorithm so that these widgets will show your game to fans of your genre. And the way you do that is with tags. So this is a game, the before screenshot of a game. They took my class called Just Read the Instructions. Great game on Steam. First-person shooter. But if you look at their tags, which is very small, let me show you a zoomed in. When you look at the tags, they weren't quite there yet. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, tags control everything for the Steam algorithm. Steam can't use some machine learning algorithm to figure out what kind of genre you have. It's all based on tags. So you must tag correctly. Here are 3 games that are, if you're making a roguelike, key games. To do the tagging, I just have this spreadsheet. And what I do is I find 3 games that are the top of the ranks. Everybody plays these games in this genre. And then I just list out the tags that are associated with each one of these from Steam. And then I go across all 3 columns and I figure out all the ones that appear in all 3 of these games. Those are your tags, as long as they do apply to your game. So the Just Read the Instructions developers read what I kind of recommended for them. And then afterwards, they improved their tags on their game. So here's the before and after. Notice before they had shooter, action, puzzle, PvE, but they didn't have FPS. They added the FPS tag because all the games they studied had that. They also did online co-op because that one was in both. They took out action. Again, I can't tell you, it's dependent on each game. You got to do your own research. But for these guys, this new combination is what they picked based on their research. They also added more Steam features and they added animated GIFs because their About This Game section didn't have any animated GIFs. Guess what happened? Immediate spike. You can see right where they made that tagging change. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. And their Steam wishlist went right up along with that increased traffic. What's going on here is Steam saw the tag change and it said, whoa, this looks like an FPS now. They've got very clear FPS tags. I'm going to show them to fans of FPSs. And then all the fans from Steam were like, yes, this is an FPS game. They looked right at those GIFs, everything, and they started wishlisting that game because Steam showed it to them, because Steam had a better understanding of what their game was. Okay, here's the fourth problem, fourth and final. You got a dead game. I hate this term, but Steam fans use it all the time. It typically applies to early access games or games that have been out for a while that haven't been updated. Here's how to fix the dead game problem. Do Steam update events, post in your Steam forums, and add text to your capsules, okay? So I pulled this from r/Steam. I love r/Steam because you see what the real fans say. They were commenting that it's mysterious when games are updated, but nobody updates their patch notes. They say, I look for events and there's none. They want us to put events every time you update your game. So you got to write those. Let me show you an example. Here's a game called Chicken Police. Really good game. Their events are like a textbook case of what you should do. So check out Chicken Police. Look at their events. That's the section down here. They do a dev log. Their dev blogs are like a mix of the game and the person's lifestyle, of the developers' lives. It's great. Just look at their events. Perfect case. This shows that your game is alive when you post these. Another game, Quest of Dungeons, in their, this is a great idea they had, is in their forums, they actually have a pinned message that just has a version number and a bullet point list of everything that changed. Do this. Then people can see how many updates you've done, that you're an active dev. This is good stuff. Okay. Also, post in your Steam forums. I know the forums are kind of cruddy sometimes, but at the bare minimum, pin an FAQ that says, common questions like when it's coming to Switch. They always ask when it's coming to Switch. Just have an answer here. Also, whether you support ultra widescreen 60 FPS, they're going to ask you that too. Have a comment, have a reason for that, whether you are or you're not. But pin that FAQ in your forum. Also, pin a discussion thing of where to find you. List your Twitter, your Discord, all that stuff. And if you're not going to be on the forums, tell them there. Say, hey, I'm just not checking the forums. I just don't have time. You can check in their Discord. Here's a link to it. I'm always there. That kind of stuff just shows that you're communicating with your audience and that you just haven't abandoned your game. It's not dead. Finally, add text to your capsules when you update it or you have a sale. This is cool. I pull these. I always grab a screenshot anytime I see somebody who's puts text in their capsule. I think it's great. They just give little descriptions of what's new. Like Neon Abyss had an event called Titans Advent. Elite Dangerous has new content available. Season 2 of Fall Guys is live. There's a new demo for Potion Craft. At a glance, you can see what's new in the game. This thing really helps. Do this for any big sale, especially at the seasonal sales, like winter sale, that kind of stuff. Anytime you do an update, add a little description of what it is. So to fix the not dead game problem, add Steam event updates. Fans are looking for them. They really do read them. Post in your forums, add text to your capsules, all that stuff. But most importantly, you do have to update your game. Keep it active. That's how you not have a dead game. Okay, how to implement this. Your mileage may vary. There's a lot of things I just described. Some games need one of these things that I talked about. Some games need other things. You just got to try all of them. Just kind of experiment. Here's the thing. Some games that have really high quality art already, the changes aren't as good. You know, they won't have as big an impact like on Dwarven Valley, like swapping out from a low quality capsule to a very high quality one. That was a big jump in quality. If you've already got a high quality game, you might not see those impacts. And if your game is not good and the art's not good, I'm sorry, these changes might not help. Steam audience is very savvy. They can't be fooled. So you got to make a good game. Have a scientific mindset. Be open to changes. See if they work. If they don't work, try a different change. Don't give up. Don't say this is hopeless and nothing's changing. And test what I say. Don't just believe everything I say. Test it yourself. Try it out. See what works. And then monitoring success. I don't like to look at the impression versus conversion rate click-through. That's kind of a murky number. Steam's very noisy. I like to look at the number of wish lists. That's the core number. Look at the number of wish lists, track it weekly, track it daily. If you improve your tags, you're going to see a spike on Discovery Queue. That's the only time I like the visibility, marketing and visibility. So go to this page to see whether your tag changes have an impact. You'll see a spike in Discovery Queue. That indicates you got good tags. Okay, keep a diary. Every time you make a change, every day, track this data. If you want to get this chart, there's a template, howtomakeasteampage.com. I give you information on how to track this. Let's make a better Steam page. There's my Twitter account, my email. If you need help with anything, email me. howtomarketagame.com. That's my weekly blog. How to make a Steam page. That's my free class. Good luck, everybody. Have that scientific mindset. You're going to do great. I love you. Bye.